Geopolitical trends, consolidation points, prospects of the contemporary realities are strategically important to have an atmosphere of peace in the region. All these topics are focused in Central Asia program.
Hello, you're watching the Central Asian Report. In today's report, we bring you the news of the brightest successes and achievements of Central Asian countries in 2016, which you may have missed, but which certainly deserve our attention. But we start off as usual with an overview of the headlines from Central Asia, and today they're only positive. In Turkmenistan, preparation for the 5th Asian Games are reaching the final stage. The Games will be held in Ashgabat in September of 2017. However, the construction of sports facilities and the necessary infrastructure is practically complete. The Olympic town is being commissioned. Its total area is 157 hectares and it cost around $5 billion to build. In addition, the construction of the main sports stadium of the Asian Games with a capacity for 48,000 spectators is being completed. In particular, the track and field venue, the swimming pool, the indoor cycling track, tennis court, venue for martial arts, and team sports palaces have already been tested. I would add that teams from 62 countries will take part in the Asian Games, including for the first time countries of Oceania. In Uzbekistan, 2017 has been pronounced as the year of dialogue with the people and their interests. This was announced by the recently elected president of the country, Shavkat Mirziyoyev. The head of state proposed to establish community liaison offices, which, I quote, will always be open for people. To note, this year was the first that the practice of virtual public liaison offices were introduced in Uzbekistan. The open office of the country's prime minister set the precedent. In just the first couple of months, around 250,000 public appeals were accepted. The experience of introducing this channel of communication turned out to be effective. In 2017, there are plans to develop it and apply in governmental structures at different levels. Kazakhstan's city of Turkmenistan will become the cultural capital of the Turkic world in 2017. This decision was adopted during another session of Turksoy, the International Organization of Turkic Culture. Within the framework of an honorary mission, various conferences, concerts, exhibitions, idea sharing and other events will be held in Turkestan, which will facilitate the strengthening of cultural and historical connections between Turkic peoples. Following the tradition, the capital of the Turkic world will host the song contest Turk Vision, an analogous version of the popular Eurovision. I would add that it was Azerbaijan's city of Sheki which passed on the honorary title to Turkestan. Kazakhstan's pride was defended behind the chess table. This year, the country's junior chess masters, especially the young women, won all the possible titles and prizes at international tournaments. It turned out that the game of chess has become a real trend in the country, educational and social. Details in our next story. 25th table, can you please stop talking? There are other people playing. The qualification tournament has been ongoing for more than 2 hours, and the children are getting impatient. Jansaya Abdumalik remembers well how difficult it is to sit still at such an age. That is why she's here today, in order to maintain the discipline, make sure everyone abides by the rules, and to simply share her knowledge and experience. If the kids ask for some advice, then I help with great pleasure, try to motivate them. They're like brothers and sisters to me. At the age of 14, Jansaya earned the title of chess grandmaster among women. Before her, no one from Kazakhstan was able to achieve such success at such a young age. But the school of chess is developing so rapidly that it is likely that in the near future someone will beat her record. A member of the national team, Gulmira Davletova, says that this rapid development is due to the experienced trainers and financial support. Our kids are showing good results in the recent times, and this is definitely causing a great boom in Kazakhstan. If you consider, for example, Almaty and Astana, there are very many private schools. And this is not just in these cities, but all across Kazakhstan. In the last couple of years, the level of preparation of chess masters in Kazakhstan has gone up substantially. At the international competitions, our chess players are competing on par with the strongest teams of the world. Against China, it was a draw, which is a very good result. But of course, for now, it is hard to say if we could reach the top 3. But at least we're sure that we will always be in the top 10, if the team is comprised of the same players as right now. There is a contentious opinion that logic, strategy, and analysis are qualities which to a great extent are more characteristic for men. But in Kazakhstan, it is actually young girls and women who are beating all the chess records. Jansoy Abdumalik is a multiple-time world champion. In 2016, Dinara Sadvakasova won the title of world champion under 20. And just recently, another bright star appeared in Kazakhstan. Aisha Zakirova became a world under 8 champion. My opponents who came from different countries were very strong. That is why it was very difficult to play against them. But it was interesting. There are less news about the men's chess team. Nevertheless, they also show decent results. The executive director of the Chess Federation, Irina Grishenko, explains that the level of competition among boys and men is much higher, at least in terms of the number of competitors. This year, our #1 player, Rinat Jumabayev, became the best of the European Cup among Kazakhstan's competitors. And last year, he won the Central Asian Cup. In 2017, in a number of schools in Almaty, chess will be introduced into the compulsory educational program. The pilot project is intended for 4 years. After that, the specialists will be able to make a conclusion as to how chess affects the school performance of children. International practice shows that this ancient game develops memory, logic, and analytical thinking, and we can be witnesses to how the bright victories of young girls are changing the consciousness of an entire generation. A throw worth $200,000. In 2016, the hammer thrower Dilshod Nazarov won an Olympic gold for Tajikistan. And this is the first gold medal in the history of independence of this country. Our correspondent in Dushanbe met with the athlete who became a true national hero in his home country. This is historical footage. In just a couple of seconds, Dilshod Nazarov's name will become part of history. The hammer thrower from Tajikistan is about to win the first and only gold for the country since the establishment of its independence. At the airport on the day of his arrival, there was no space to move. Many people were impatiently awaiting the arrival of their hero, which is exactly how the people of Tajikistan now call Nazarov. The photographs of the athlete are all across the country, on billboards, cars, and home balconies. Dozens of poems dedicated to him are published in the newspapers. Nazarov's path from the airport to his home was decorated with flags and portraits. Relatives and neighbors came to greet the champion and congratulate him on his victory. I watched Dilshod grow up. He was a very sharp young boy, always helped the elders. We're very proud of the fact that our neighbor became an Olympic champion, and we would like for our grandchildren to be like him in life. We're very proud of him. It all started more than a quarter of a century ago. Back then, the sturdy young man was noticed by a track and fields coach and was invited to the team. The parents supported their son and had been part of the sports world themselves. I still cannot believe this great joy. My son achieved a goal for which he has been training for many years, with determined hard work. Nazarov's wife, Nigina, was also a source of support for him. She works as an elementary school teacher in one of the schools in Dushanbe. The son Daler and daughter Amina did not follow in their father's footsteps. They opted for the world of music. The 12-year-old Amina spends all her free time behind the piano, but she never misses any competitions where her father is participating. She follows the sports competitions very closely and roots for her dad. We sit in front of the TV and watch anxiously. Members of this family have already gotten used to living by following a sports regimen. There is a designated time for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and the athlete's wife works hard to make tasty and healthy food. He really loves pilaf. Dilshod always tells his competitors, "Eat more pilaf, there is a lot of energy in the rice." And they always say, "We have to visit you and try your pilaf. What is this magic pilaf that makes you throw so far?" The Olympic champion himself has time for everything: family, sport, and work. Dilshod Nazarov works at the Committee on Youth Affairs, Sports, and Tourism.
У меня хорошая команда, которая работает, помогает мне вместе. Когда есть команда, то всегда можно...
We have a great team. There are people on whom one can rely. With a good team, anything is possible. The trainings are in the morning at 7 and last for 3 hours. I work on the hammer throwing technique then. And in the evening, strength training.
Метательская тренировка, где я метаю молот, а вечером уже тоже я начинаю в 5 часов вечера тренировку и тренируюсь где-то до часов 7-8, это там уже идет силовая подготовка.
After the long-awaited victory, Tajikistan's president personally congratulated the champion. As a reward for the gold medal, Dilshod Nazarov received $200,000. But perhaps the most valuable present came from his wife. She recently gave birth to a son, and perhaps he will be the one to follow in the footsteps of the famous athlete. In 2016, Kyrgyzstan was able to unite 55 countries of the world. Their representatives all gathered in Kyrgyzstan's city of Cholpon-Ata for the second World Nomad Games. The competition was initially intended to be just an event, but became a bright phenomenon for the global sports community. Our correspondent in Bishkek revisited the story of the games, which are now important not just for nomads. September of 2016, Kyrgyzstan. 1,000 Kubis players are playing mashbotoy. According to the Guinness Book of Records, this is the greatest number of people in history to perform simultaneously. And so the Second World Nomad Games already commenced with the setting of a new record. The Games program includes 23 types of traditional national sports: wrestling, horse riding and weightlifting. Around 1,000 athletes from 62 countries of the world competed for the top prizes, including from Europe, United States and Russia. And even the organizers of the Games could not have foreseen such mass participation. But from just a simple sports tournament, the World Nomad Games turned into an ambitious countrywide project. It was even noted at the United Nations.
Второй раз уже Организация Объединенных Наций подтверждает, что Всемирные игры кочевников сегодня.
This is the second time that the United Nations affirmed that the World Nomad Games are making a great contribution to the development of peace. The focus is placed on internations and interreligious relations in the world. We have truly achieved our goals, because this kind of recognition in such a short period of time is a great achievement.
Мы можем твердо это сказать, потому что такое признание за столь короткий срок – это очень большое достижение.
Without exaggeration, the attention of the entire global community was focused on the Nomad Games, and the interest was not just sports-related. The Games were still happening, while the doping scandal with Russia's Olympic team was in full swing. There was a precedent of organizing alternative competitions for Paralympians. And based on the example of the Nomad Games, there are many serious discussions about the fact that the International Olympic Committee is by far not the only international organization that is capable of uniting representatives of different sports. The Nomad Games give a powerful impulse not to just the development of sports and national games in Kyrgyzstan, but also across the entire world, because so many countries saw them and there was so much feedback. I, for example, received a phone call from Hungary. They would like to act as partners for the next games. The idea of the Games is to unite on one sports arena nations with a common nomad past and to engage those who are traditionally part of settled nations. For the historical nomads, this is a celebration of returning back to one's roots. For the rest of the world, an opportunity to get to know the rich history of nomad nations. That is why the program of the Games include not just sports events, but also concerts, demonstrations of rituals, tasting of traditional foods and other cultural events. The organizers highlighted that all this is outside of politics.
Чтобы подготовиться на третьи игры, мы твердо будем настаивать и будем делать, наверное.
In order to prepare for the third Games, we're going to insist on developing guidelines for the Games. The preparation will be completed by the middle of the summer, and then, through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and federations, we're going to invite teams for 2018, so that all the countries would be able to include our Games into their calendar, and this would make it easier for them. This year we did this really late, and a lot of the countries did not have the Nomad Games in their plans.
Поэтому у них вот эти игры в календарных планах фактически не было.
The resonance from the second Games was substantial. The Games were covered by the biggest media corporations, including Euronews, Al Jazeera, CCTV, and National Geographic. In 2 years, the next Games should be held, and active preparations are already underway. This time, there are no plans to build big sporting facilities. Organizers intend to modernize the already existing infrastructure, considering the great number of participants and guests.
На этом все.
You're watching the Central Asian Report. We wish you a happy new year, peace and prosperity in the upcoming year, and all the years that will follow. Until next time on Kazakh TV.
В эфире на телеканале Kazakh TV.